Let us pray. Our Father and our God, we come to thee grateful for the world which you've given us to live in. We thank you for all the many blessings that you bestow upon us. Tonight, as we consider the affairs of Camden County, be with us, give us wisdom, give us grace, give us acceptance, give us wisdom again. Father, be with all the people who serve us to keep us safe. Father, there are people who are ill, including one of our own. Please be with those who are ill. Bring rest and peace to them. And all of these things we ask in thy most precious and holy name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. A roll call, please.
Commissioner Brandt is absent.
All right, turn it on. All right, are there any amendments to the agenda? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
All those in favor? Motion's adopted. All right, there's no changes to the minutes from the March 5th regular meeting and public hearing. Can I get a motion to accept those minutes?
Motion to approve.
I'll second them. All in favor? All right, minutes are approved. All right, this brings us to our first presentation of the night. This is a proclamation honoring the life of David L. Rayner. Katie, you're giving that?
Yes, sir. This is a joint proclamation of the City of St. Mary's, Kingsland, Woodbine, and the Camden County Board of Commissioners honoring the life and legacy of David L. Rayner. Whereas the City of St. Mary's, City of Kingsland, City of Woodbine joined the Camden County Board of Commissioners in honoring the life and legacy of the late David L. Rayner, who departed from this earthly home on December 4th, 2023, to join the eternal light. Whereas born on January 21st, 1936, to Richard Porter and Avis Sellers Rayner in Livingston, Alabama, David spent the first 23 years of his life in Livingston embodying the spirit of community service. Whereas David dedicated over 50 years of his life to serving Camden County, making significant contributions to education and public service. And whereas David's educational journey began as a 7th grade teacher in Kingsland Elementary School in Camden County in 1958, showcasing his commitment to shaping young minds and soon ascending to the position of superintendent of schools in 1965. David's leadership spanned 35 years, leaving an indelible mark on the education system in Camden County. Whereas beyond his role in education, David continued his service to community by serving on the Camden County Board of Commissioners from 2000 to 2012, serving as chairman for 8 of the 12 years, and significantly contributing to the growth and well-being of Camden County. Whereas David's leadership and dedicated public service also influenced the neighboring city of St. Mary's, Kingsland, and Woodbine, where he was recognized and appreciated for his dedication to community development. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the City of St. Mary's, Kingsland, and Woodbine join the Camden County Board of Commissioners in expressing gratitude for the life and contributions of former Commissioner David L. Rayner. Proclaim this day. And if we can have you come up.
I would like to say stuff about Mr. He was the principal of my first elementary in elementary school at Kingsland Good. For years, he was superintendent of schools, though. Matter of fact, all the way through schools,
I knew Mr. Rayner as superintendent of our school.
He was the first person to actually, my voice doesn't carry? No. When I first got out of college and came back to Camden County, I wanted to work at the school system. Mr. David Rayner hired me to be a guidance counselor and fired me the very next day because I was not qualified for the position. Mr. Rayner, when he was chairman of the county commissioners, he championed local businesses, and that was really special to me. There were times that people would come from the outside and push to get work here in Camden County, and Mr. Rayner always wanted to take care of the local people. I am honored, David, to give you this, and you want to say anything, Chairman?
No, you're doing good.
Okay. Because we loved your dad and your mom, Mr. Rayner. So there you go, Glenn. God bless you.
Don't get the baker to do that.
God bless you.
And Mr. Chairman, with permission, I'd like to express our thanks from the family. So first of all, in this time of artificial intelligence, AI, robotics that writes your term paper, it's amazing, this process that you guys did. And we're really appreciative of it. It was a collaborative effort, and it's hard to get all the communities to agree on one thing. And thank you so much. So I'm going to read this and hopefully be short. And Sylvia and I are accepting this joint proclamation on behalf of my mom, who is recovering from surgery a couple of weeks ago. She's doing much better now. For her and my brother and our families, we find it difficult to put into words how much it means to us. So we'll just say a very heartfelt thank you to the county commissioners for leading the writing of this proclamation, the city leaders of Woodbine, Kingsland, and St. Mary's, all the school system and all the county personnel and staff that make everything run every day, and all the good people in Camden who appreciated my dad's service. So we thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Next, we got a presentation. You want to take over, Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I know this is not on tonight's agenda, and I did that intentionally to have a little bit of a surprise for one of our amazing department heads, our Public Works Director, actually Public Works and Fleet Director. I don't want to leave out Fleet because that's a lot of work in itself as well. If I could I have Ms. Shalana McNamee join me up here? You weren't going to sneak out without getting one of these, so. It's really been a pleasure working alongside Shalana over the last 4 years. So on behalf of the entire county, I want to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude for Shalana's outstanding leadership, her unwavering dedication as our Public Works and Fleet Director over the last 4 years. Under her guidance, the Public Works and Fleet Department, they have both undergone a remarkable transformation, one that's left an indelible mark on our community and the departments. Your tireless efforts have not only improved our infrastructure, but they've also significantly enhanced the quality of life for our residents. The impressive statistics speaks volumes about your exceptional impact. The improvement of over $1.2 million for 56 miles of unpaved roads. The addition of $750,000 for 1.2 miles of new paving. And the resurfacing of over 30 miles of roadway totaling over $5 million. These achievements, they're a testament to your vision, your diligence, and your unwavering commitment to excellence. Moreover, your strategic reorganization of the departments has optimized efficiency and effectiveness for both of those, setting a new standard for our public works service. Your foresight in creating the first drainage crew and bringing back the right-of-way mowing in-house has not only saved taxpayer dollars, but it's also ensured that our county's needs are met promptly and professionally. Your dedication to your team has not gone unnoticed. You've not only ensured that your staff are well taken care of, but you've also equipped the department with nearly $3 million in new equipment and vehicles, increasing their performance and safety. And beyond your professional achievements, your commitment to your family is truly admirable. Despite the demands of your role, you continue to prioritize your role as a mother to 3 young boys who are here with her tonight. Say hey, guys. Exemplifying your grace and balance in every aspect of your life. Your willingness to go above and beyond, whether it's working 50, 60 hours a week, or even lending your support to other county departments, is a true testament to your character. We thank you, Shalana, for your exceptional leadership, unwavering dedication, and your profound impact on our community. We're deeply grateful for all that you've done for our county. And before I end, Shalana has always had this really cool thing that she does for her department. If you've ever gone to one of her departmental speeches, she likes to talk about statistics. And I've already mentioned a few, but since she's been here, I've just got a few more I want to kind of talk about. These are some of the ones that we kind of look at the most, but just potholes. Since she's been here, and she started July 1st of 2020. So since she's been here, and this is not even including this month because we haven't had this month's total. So, aside from March, 465 potholes have been repaired. 82.89 miles of outfall ditches have been cleaned. 1,442 work orders have been completed. And 152 beaver dams have been torn down. And I don't think we're ever going to, I don't say that we're ever going to get rid of the beaver problem, but I just want to sincerely thank you. It's been amazing working with you, alongside you. I know the commissioners feel the same way. And what we would like to do this evening is present you with this plaque, thanking you for everything that you've done. And it reads, with our greatest appreciation, we hereby present Shalana McNamee for your loyal and dedicated service to the Camden County Board of Commissioners and the citizens of Camden County. We thank you. So. And commissioners, if you'd like to come down, we'll get a photo. And can we get the boys too?
Yeah.
Robert, where you at? You're not hiding. Come on, Robert.
Got to give a speech as well.
Thank you. I will say it has been an honor to serve our citizens, to serve this administration and these commissioners, and my staff. It has just been the most honoring and humbling career I've ever had. And I truly hope that when these little guys get a little bit older and I have a little more free time, I would absolutely come back and do it again. I have enjoyed every minute of it. I'm going to enjoy coming up here for a different reason behind the podium, I'm sure. Maybe not asking for money this time. But I do. I thank you all. Our department wouldn't have been supportive without the administration and the commissioners that trusted me and empowered me and gave me the option to be able to lead the team. And I truly have just enjoyed every minute of it here. Thank you.
This is going to be a loss.
All right, next up is the St. Mary's River Management Committee report. I'll be handling that. The St. Mary's River Management Committee is composed of the 4 counties that border the St. Mary's River. That's Nassau County and Baker in Florida, and Camden and Charlton in Georgia. We do this once a year, kind of an annual report. We watch everything that might harm the river, such as the Twin Pines mining permit that's going on in Charlton County. We're also looking at the Blue Bridge acquisition. That's still ongoing, and litigation should be resolved by this summer. And lastly, we're excited to celebrate the successful conclusion of the 319 grant for Horsepen Creek. That was the replacement of the septic tanks. That was a lot of work by the River Management Committee, the River Keeper, and the Camden County staff. With that, we'll close that and we'll move on to the next item, which is public comments. This is comments on the agenda item only. We'll limit it to 3 minutes.
Mr. Ricky Van.
Good evening, Commissioners. Rick Manning from Bullhead. Of course, you know I want to address the gun range, and I'm kind of glad we had all that noise on the roof. Now you see how I feel every time there's a south wind, I'm sitting on my porch. It's annoying. It's a nuisance. Same thing. South wind blows, I hear that just about like that. Anyway, well, let's get on to business. Commissioners, we are here once again debating the same thing after 2 years, and we have not solved the problem of the noise nuisance generated from Two Rivers Gun Range. The range has been in violation of the county UDC from day one, sections 802 and section 810. We have now brought out even more information of the zoning problems associated with the range from day one also. The project has been in violation of code since its conception and should have never been approved or allowed to continue to operate under these circumstances. The county is not exempted from following the laws, period. So, in conclusion, a running account of numerous attempts and requests to have this board bring the range into compliance has been ignored but well documented. The excuses have all but reached their limit as to why this board refuses to correct the mistakes that they allowed themselves to be manipulated into approving. All of us in this room know what is soon to happen as this board continues to refuse to follow its own laws and fix their own mistakes. We make laws, codes, ordinance for everybody in this room. This board is not exempt from them. You know you've been breaking the laws and your own codes for over 2 years. I've been standing here. It's time to do something or shut this range down. You use the same codes that I've been talking about for 2 years against the private range. You know it, you did it. Let's do something about it, or because this is going to be the last time I'm up here speaking about it by myself. Next time there will be legal advice here with me. I'm tired of trying to beg y'all to do your own job. You know you're complacent. Let's get something done. Thank you.
Thanks for your comment. Anybody else registered? Anybody else wish to speak?
Yes. My name is Mary Beckman, and I live in District 3, in a neighborhood that is far enough away from Exit 7 that I personally am unlikely to be affected by the planned I-95 Gateway Logistics Center development. However, as a citizen of Camden County who was raised in the belief that we are all our brother's keepers, I want to pose 4 questions to you as you prepare to vote on the resolution for Freeport exemption.
Is that on the agenda?
It's the resolution for the Freeport exemption as an incentive for companies to establish fulfillment centers at that site. First, considering what buildings are already in the neighborhood where the I-95 Gateway Logistics Center is located, what steps are you taking to fund sidewalks, traffic lights, and other ways of mitigating the effects that trucks going into and out of these fulfillment centers will have on the safety of the children who attend Mamie Lou Gross Elementary School, the members of Evergreen Missionary Baptist Church and of Carnegie Chapel, and all of the residents who live in this historic Kinlaw neighborhood. Second, remembering the concerns that these constituents expressed to you 2 years ago about the emissions from Synergy Recycling, have you thought about how you might protect their health from the much larger effects that diesel fumes have had on health in other neighborhoods where fulfillment centers have been placed around the country, such as Riverside, California, and Dallas, Texas? For example, could you require that any company proposing to set up a fulfillment center in the Kinlaw neighborhood use electric or hydro cell powered trucks? Third, keeping in mind the history of this neighborhood and the possibility of unmarked burial grounds on the land where these fulfillment centers would be located, have QTR Harriet's Bluff LLC and QTR Kinlaw LLC applied for a permit to develop the land? And if so, did their application include all of the elements required by OCGA 3672, such as an archaeologist's report? Relatedly, noting that QTR Harriet's Bluff LLC applied for permission to, quote, permanently fill 20.23 acres of wetland and 22.1 acres of open waters, close quote. Have you considered what effect this is going to have on water quality in the neighborhood, where residents rely on wells? In closing, may I suggest that if you have not considered these questions yet, you do so now. The I-95 Gateway Logistics Center has been in the planning at least since April 2021, but as far as I know, no one has consulted with the people who will be most affected. Could that be because these properties are within the Kingsland City Tax District, but the rest of the neighborhood outside of the Kingsland Industrial Park is in the unincorporated part of the county? Why not take a leadership role now and hold a series of town halls where you and the JDA can work together with your constituents to figure out how to protect this historic neighborhood from the effects of this planned industrial development? Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Anybody else wish to speak before the board? Seeing none, this time we need a motion to adjourn the regular meeting and convene a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Got a first and a second. All in favor? All right, now we're in a public hearing. All right, Joy.
Thank you, Chairman, and good evening, Commissioners. Tonight I'm here to consider a request for a transfer of an alcohol license from Michael and Ann Ott and Crooked River Lounge to Alan Carper and the Dive for retail consumption of spirits, malt beverages, beer, and wine. Now, the applicant has provided a complete application and the necessary documentation for this application. So staff will recommend approval on this.
Anybody from the public which is speak in favor of this item? Anybody wish to speak in opposition? All right, hearing none, we'll move on. Now we need a motion to adjourn the public hearing and reconvene the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
We got a first and second, all in favor? All right, we're back in the regular meeting. All right, you're up again, Julie.
I'm here tonight to ask for the adoption of the fiscal year 2024 capital improvement element for the comprehensive plan for Camden County. The Coastal Regional Commission and the Department of Community Affairs have reviewed and approved this draft report. So the next step is the adoption of the final report by the board. So staff would recommend approval on this.
All right, can I get a motion on this item?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I got first and second, any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried. All right, item number 2.
Next item will be a consider request for a transfer of alcohol license from Michael and Ann Ott and Crooked River Lounge to Alan Carper and the Dive for retail consumption of spirits, malt beverages, beer, and wine. So staff would recommend approval on this.
Get a motion on this item?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a first and a second to approve the transfer. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, Kelly.
Good evening. Good evening, Commissioners. This agenda item is for your consideration to approve the surplus of vehicles and equipment that are no longer in use. Multiple of the vehicles and equipment are beyond repair, or it is too costly to repair them. They will either be sold at auction through an online auction company or salvaged. The copiers, printers, typewriter, IT equipment, and fleet equipment are either out of their life cycle or not in use and need to be surplused. 3 of the monitors from IT will be donated to the reentry program. Staff recommends approval to surplus the vehicles and equipment for either auction or salvage.
I get a motion on the side? I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
We got a first and a second to surplus these items. Any discussion?
Have the computers and all of the electronic devices that can store information been cleaned?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Motion carried. All right, who's given the resolution for the Freeport?
I will, Chairman. Mr. Coughlin couldn't be here with us this evening, but the item number 4, the resolution for the Freeport exemption level 1, class 4. This is your consideration to approve on March 12th, the voters of Camden County passed the Freeport exemption level 1, class 4. We do have some developers that are already currently planning the I-95 Gateway Logistics Center at exit 7. This resolution, with your approval tonight, will be forwarded on to the Department of Revenue for the state of Georgia, which will then, they will file this Freeport exemption, and then it will take effect from there. So with your approval tonight, that's our next steps, is to send this signed resolution on to the Department of Revenue.
Can I get a motion on this item?
I make a motion to approve the resolution for Freeport exemption level 1, class 4.
Second.
Got a first and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion carried. All right, this brings us to the University of Georgia Extension Agency billing contract.
Mr. Chairman, this is a annual contract that we enter into with the UGA extension. This is basically for their salaries and travel. Although the budget has not been set, the state of Georgia runs the same fiscal year as we do, and they need to know our intent. And I don't believe that any of us are looking at reducing the staff or cutting salaries or, their travel is relatively the same. They follow our same 2.5% increase that we do for salaries. So with that, staff is recommending approval.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but we pay half their salary and they pay half
There's differences. So I think
or something.
one of the positions, I think in 4-H, we pay the full salary, and for the others, we pay a percentage.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion on this item?
Motion to approve.
Second.
First and second to approve the billing contract. All those in favor? Brings us to item number 6, gun range noise abatement solution. Anybody got any new comments or ideas?
do we have any updates? As far as, or narrow down parameters as far as any kind of testing goes?
I have been unable to link up with that same company just to kind of go back in that short amount of time. So, my apologies for not being able to do that, but, if that's something you still want to explore, we'll continue working on that.
Somebody mentioned after our discussion at the last meeting that there were possibly some, federal agencies nearby that might, have experience, in a similar realm of, issues. So I don't know if that's another avenue to look at. I know we have FLETC to our north. There's probably some others I'm not thinking about, but.
In the interim, have we considered restrictions? Other than, I think you mentioned there are certain weapons that are now restricted. What about the ammunition for other weapons that doesn't have the concussive effect of higher caliber rounds or heavier loading in the individual cartridges? Have we considered all those possibilities, mitigating it, and any possibility of any legal silencing options for weapons? I don't know a whole lot about that, I admit that, but are there silencers that are legally available?
You have to have a stamp, in order to have any type of a silencer, and that process generally takes about 6 to 9 months, sometimes up to a year.
And I think even, if you had a suppressor, I think you could potentially have one at a facility that they could, use under the supervision of the facility. But the issue is, not every shooter would have a threaded barrel. And so that's where, it wouldn't be, applicable to every rifle.
Then we could add that as a requirement to mitigate the problem until a structural solution could be found. We're looking for avenues of progress, looking for the ways to solve the problem, not all the ways why we cannot solve the problem. So if you want to bring your large caliber weapon out there and it is noisy, go to the expense of having it threaded and let us explore the possibility of suppressors that can be adapted to it.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we send out a mailer to everybody within, say, 3 miles of the range and see what the public thinks?
Is it a numbers game, or is it not significant that at least one citizen has a problem with it?
Well, that one citizen at one time, when the sheriff's office was operating it, was all in favor of the gun range.
I think that was prior to it being operated and prior to the.
Well, the gun range has been in operation as far as the sheriff out there shooting a long time, many, many years. I'm not saying that there's not a problem for somebody, but let's find out.
And somebody had just mentioned too today, I didn't know this, but apparently the Navy had shot out there prior to the sheriff's office.
Yep.
It wasn't really prior to, it was alongside. I think at one time they had brought out some 50 cals, and this was before my time. This is just what I've heard, but they brought out some 50 cals and shot at the berms out there.
Well, for that matter, I can hear the Navy from my home in St. Mary's. However, I view that as an entirely different function. I am all for the Navy doing whatever it needs to, the force protection unit out there, to stay sharp and be able to repel any threat to our capabilities. That's entirely necessary. Recreational shooting is a different matter entirely in terms of it being a nuisance and not a necessary nuisance. There are all kinds of convoluted arguments on this. Fact is, we have a citizen that has a problem with it, and I see it as our duty to do something to resolve that issue.
With the financial component of the grant, we are held to certain regulations to operate it and keep it open to the public. And if we were to violate that, we would probably have to pay back that money. I don't know if you can violate it and pay it back. I mean, you know about that process.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the legalities of what would happen. I don't know if that's been tested thus far in Georgia yet with DNR, but I think that would definitely be something of consideration. And to Commissioner Goodman's point earlier, if just for information, I think if you lower, if you require everybody to have a silencer, you'll pretty much cut out 98% of your business. There's not many people that have silencers or suppressors.
Yeah. And even with a threaded barrel, it's a little bit more of a delicate process putting that on. They make quick change adapters, which you can take them on and off in just a second. But it's not like something you just zip on.
Well, didn't we talk about that we provide them rather than requiring the citizens to have them? That would
Now
seem to
you
be,
want to spend more public money.
well, it may be less expensive to do that than to try to do something structural. I'm open to investigating that. I'm not advocating it. I'm advocating investigating it. I'm advocating looking at every possibility we can to solve this problem.
Would we even be able to do that? Do we have a FFL license?
We don't, but I don't know that it would even be feasible because you've got so many different calibers out there. And I would say probably 90% of firearms do not have threaded barrels.
Right.
And nobody's gonna go and spend, $500 on getting a threaded barrel made, to put on their rifle or pistol.
Well, we can go back to what was suggested a couple of years ago, and that's to add the extra canopy and, on the rifle range and insulate the pistol range and maybe add a little more canopy on it.
That's a solution. Let's do it.
Well, remember that's what we were gonna do a couple of years ago, and come budget time, y'all removed it.
Well, I certainly didn't remove it, did I? Couple of years ago?
Well,
That was this last fiscal year.
last fiscal year.
Okay. Let's reconsider that.
All right, I'll make a motion, we go back and get bids on adding the canopies, the insulating the pistol range and adding the eyebrow to the rifle range.
Second motion.
All right, got first and second. Any more discussion?
Yeah, I was just gonna say to clarify, the insulation over the pistol range, makes a lot of sense. I saw, an immediate difference in the rifle range, but are those canopies, is that, supposed to help with the muzzle blast, or is the problem beyond that? And, when the bullet breaks the sound barrier and the berms aren't high enough, could some dirt work be redone instead of adding those, canopies and cover a similar, or get a similar result?
Yeah, and I think that was kind of part of the study, was to really
Just try to figure
identify.
out.
Yeah, I mean, if that's really the case, they would study the sound waves and they can test it from the point of fire, to X distances. So, I think the study would really show where your sound is traveling and how fast it's traveling, how it's traveling, if it's bouncing either off of the berms, if it's bouncing off the canopy, the concrete under the canopy. They would look at all of that.
Yep. Yeah, in one regard, I hate to spend, more money talking about something versus just doing it, as I stated at our last meeting. But on the other side of the equation, I hate to just throw money at something hoping it solves a solution and not really have a, confident, feeling that it's going to solve our problem.
It was Flexi is who we were going to talk to. Am I correct? That's who we talked about. I say we ask them. I'm in agreement, Trevor. I think that just throwing $200,000 and not knowing if it's going to solve the problem doesn't make a lot of sense. To me, it does.
Well, right now we got a motion and a second,
Requote.
requote.
That's not a bad thing to do anyways, simultaneously of speaking to some outside agencies.
We can take a vote on the requote, and, if y'all want to task the staff to, further an investigation, I don't have a problem doing that either.
With Flexi particularly.
Oh, I got a first and a second on the requote. All in favor? All right, that brings us to reports. Any changes to the calendar, Katie?
Just a reminder that on April 17th, we are having another joint work session on Floss 9 located at the College of Coastal Georgia, second floor, room 219, from 4 to 6 p.m. And I did send a calendar invite out about that.
Got it figured out last time? No. County administrator comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to again thank Ms. Shalana McNamee for all of her service and dedication to our county. It's been amazing working with her, and I know that she's going to do amazing and great things in her career as she continues. So we just really sincerely thank her for all of her hard work. We did, Katie had mentioned the next SPLOST meeting with the cities. We did have our meeting last Tuesday with the cities. I think it went very well. There's several large scale projects I think that we as a community need to come together on and talk about. So as time goes on, you'll have the opportunity, even the citizens, to kind of give some feedback and discussion along those. But with that, with Shalana leaving, we are looking at hiring for her position. So we are going to be interviewing candidates at the end of this week and early next week. So we had 5 candidates. Unfortunately, 1 dropped out. So now we're down to 4.
Okay. All right, this brings us to the last public comment section of the night. We're limited to 3 minutes. Anybody registered, Katie?
No, sir.
Anybody from the public wish to speak to the board? All right, come on up.
Rick Madden once again on the range discussion. The range is illegal. We're in here discussing stuff and you're still operating in a illegal range against county codes, against county zoning. And you're just sitting there him-hawing around. Now, we're either going to come up with something and fix it or shut the thing down. You're illegal, period. Now, as far as the DNR grant, they can't legally hold you to the grant. You got a lawyer over there, I guess he can check into it. You've operated the range, you opened it under illegal terms with DNR. You did not follow codes. It's written in there. Read your statements that you got from DNR. So you can get around that. So don't use that as an excuse neither. As far as the canopies will work if they're done properly. I've been to many ranges. You've got to have an eyebrow down at an angle, and you've got to close them in a little bit more. And they do contain muzzle blasts if you're recessed back. I mean, we don't need $60,000 or $70,000 study to go find this. We've got a man over here that's paid to do that job. He built the range. He needs to go investigate it. It's not that hard to go visit other ranges and see what they're doing. The blast is set back inside, under the canopy. The canopy's got to be dropped down, and you got to have them separated. It's pretty simple. Y'all try to make things too hard, but you're still running an illegal operation, period. What part of this do y'all not understand? I have told you this for 2 years, and you're still not complying with your own codes, ordinance, and laws. What's it going to take, folks? I mean, this is ridiculous. You could sit up there, and because you hate me, you cannot break the same laws that you're requiring citizens to abide by. I can keep coming up with stuff. The zoning. I mean, you want me to keep digging? I can keep digging. The more I dig, the more I find wrong with the range, but y'all don't listen. Please do something or it's going to get legal, and you know it. This is crazy. You sit up there and actually want to break your own codes and just thumb your nose at anything for 2 years. I'm the government, I can break the codes. No, you cannot. Shut the range down if you're not going to fix it, period. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak before the board? Come on up, Odie.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Odie Holland with Ravens of Elijah Food Ministries, and I am located in Kingsland, Georgia. I'm here to address the hunger and poverty levels in Camden County. And I've been in operation for 15 years, started in my home with one family, and that family was my own. We are currently serving 700 families per week here in Camden County at the old gun range at Oakville Armory. That's where we're located on Scrubby Bluff. Just last week, we served at our facilities, 412 families walked through our doors. 102 shut-ins we deliver to people that can't come to us also. That brings it to 516. We deliver to over 100 homeless in Camden County in 4 different locations. During the cold snap we made several bags for the warming stations up here in Woodbine. We have another program coming up. It's called the Buddy Backpack Program that we're going to be doing the last 8 weeks of school for a trial run. And then we're going to be doing over 200 children weekly here in Camden County and delivering to the schools. So we are trying our hardest to reach everybody here in the county. Obviously, we can't. There's 8 other food pantries in Camden. What Ravens does a little bit different. We try to give at our location, we don't necessarily deliver them to the schools, but we give fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, bread, pastries, meat. Today we did milk, eggs, cheese. I know I'm out of time, but I can go on and on about the food insecurity here in Camden. The groceries are out of the prices are crazy. We see more and more elderly come through because their pay don't go up. They're just stuck. Children, we're going to be giving 6 meals every Friday, so they'll have a meal for Saturday and Sunday. And that's just one child in the household. That's not necessarily every child. So I just wanted to let you know what Ravens of Elijah and other food pantries do in our community. We're dedicated to the community. I know Ravens is a 501c3 nonprofit. We are voluntary based. I have over 50 volunteers. None of us get a pay. We just love our community. So that's all I wanted to say to you tonight.
Thank you.
Get any
Y'all
questions?
do amazing work up there. And
Well-
I can testify to the food need as well. I work at a food pantry at our church, and we had a guy ride his bicycle from Woodbine to Kingsland just to get food.
Yeah,
So there's a great need out there.
there is great need. And I would like to see that expand in our community and help out a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Odie. Anybody else wish to speak before the board? All right, seeing none, can I get a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Third.
All in favor? And we're done.